Heck yeah, man. Living the dream. Glad to be here. See if we can win some money as we live this dream. You know what I'm saying?
I could
Hmm.
my bank account could use it, fellas.
A lot of people. Yeah, I'm actually watching a little bit here. I will say, guys, have y'all been watching the Knicks? Dude, it's looking crazy. Jalen Brunson. Dude, is he a top five player or what? That dude is going off right now.
I should never let him go.
No, like that's crazy, dude. Like, did you? I did not know this, but I did not realize he played for the Mavs. Like the Mavs drafted him.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
No idea that. I had no idea. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like your biggest NBA fanatic. Don't like. I love when the NBA playoffs roll around, but you're not gonna catch me watching too many games during the regular season. But once the playoffs come, it is fun. But yeah, it's Jalen Brunson is right now just making it super fun to watch. And I would say, I don't know if it's a hot topic or anything like that, or if I'm making a hot take here, but Jalen Brunson to me could be up there with the elite. Like you could almost name him up there, and I think that Dallas. It's like what's going on? We let him go, not knowing he was probably going to be who he is right now.
He was pretty good at Dallas. He was pretty good at Dallas.
Well, it's like ever since he got to the Knicks, he's been all star selected year after year after year. It seems like, and now look what he's doing with the Knicks and leading that team. Think of what we would have been with him and Kyrie and Luca. Like,
Yeah, I mean
dude,
the thing with Dallas though is Dallas would have never gotten Jalen or never would have gotten Kyrie Irving if Jalen Brunson would have left. But then that's the issue that Dallas ran into is that with Brunson's contract ended the year before Luka Doncic's ended. So they were like, we know that we're gonna have to save up for Luka to pay him this massive contract. So they
Just to send
offered
him to the freaking Lakers.
yeah, right. No, exactly. Because at the end of the day, like you're saying, Jalen Brunson is he's proved himself as a top scorer. Because everyone was kind of doubting his ability as a top scorer because he was with Luca, and it's like, oh well, Luca just makes everybody better. So now he's with there, and he's proven that like no, he's everything. So it's cool to see. I mean, it's been really awesome watching him at the Knicks. I will say I'm not a fan of the Knicks. I hate to see that, he found success with the Knicks because I do want him to do well, but I am not a Knicks fan. But again, he's completely
What do you have?
turned that team around.
What do you have against the Knicks?
It's nothing. I don't know. It's just one of those teams that it's just like I don't necessarily care for. It's nothing that I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's really like Boston, the Knicks, those Boston. I burn up
I can't
watching.
stand Lakers.
Lakers too. Lakers grind my gears. It's really these massive markets that really just make me mad. I think what's really made me mad with the Knicks is just watching them build a super team very easily when it's like, man, that's kind of hard to do for a lot of other teams. And it's just massive media markets. That's why the Lakers are always so good. That's why the Knicks are good. Boston's good. Boston's done a really good job drafting.
Always been good. They were pretty bad there for a minute.
Who's that?
The Knicks.
Yeah, no, they were.
For a while.
It's only here recently. So if you're in the
Y'all
chat,
are watching
I want to know who's y'all's most hated team in the NBA.
Yeah, it's got to be the Lakers. But like y'all sitting here, y'all are watching the NBA conference finals. I'm over here watching the hockey conference finals, baby. Let me tell you what. I'm with Dalton. It's kind of hard to watch hockey during the regular season because I know the Stars, they signed that deal kind of like what the Rangers have, to where you have like the special platform to watch them. But playoff hockey is the most electric playoffs in all top four major sports professionally, in my opinion. There is nothing like it. It is super electric. It's fun to watch. The excitement when they score the goal. I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's the most electric. Nothing beats it, I don't think.
I will say, I went to one of the farm teams for the Dallas Stars. I don't know if you've heard of them, the Allen Americans up there near McKinney, Texas.
No, I know the Texas Stars, but I think that's down. I think they're down in the Austin area, if I'm not mistaken. The Texas Stars.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
They are.
The Allen Americans are like another one, and they are, dude. I think when we went, I think there must have been 3 or 4 fist fights in the first period, but it was like in the first 4 minutes of the game. Like it was crazy. Like I have my 4-year-old there, and we're watching them fight right in front of the glass, right there in front of us, and it's intense. And I mean, out of curiosity, I ask ChatGPT everything, right? I'm like, man, how much is the average salary for this level hockey? And it's like, I don't know, I think it was like 40 grand, right? It was like something really low, but it's like, man, these guys are out here risking bones and teeth. And don't get me wrong, the sport itself is very physical, just like without the fights, but it's like these guys are just, they don't care, and it's really fun to watch. Yeah, it's fun.
So it says
I was
here,
watching
minor league hockey makes anywhere from 40,000 to 100,000 a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they, in comparison to everything else, they don't. They're just trying to make it. But in the meantime of making it, they're swinging, dude. They are swinging. It's a lot of fun.
So
it's
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I love the Dallas Stars. The Stars are looking good, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I do want to share real quick though. I did share a link with y'all. That is the first slip. Y'all can find this. Y'all can tell this slip here. We did go with the flex play. It gave us a 9x. We did get it nerfed a little bit, but it's pretty good. And the reason that is just because we do have a little bit of correlation here with these two plays. Again, with CS2, what we're really, really hoping for on CS2 plays is if we take a player's under, we're hoping that there isn't an overtime. So that means that there's less opportunities for kills for headshots. So what you want to do is take their opponent's under as well, just because there's going to be less matches that are played in a single round. These other 3 plays were just top plays that we saw on the market. So again, that's all that this is. Listen to the board on Daily Grind Fantasy. This is how we'll continue to create this throughout the rest of this episode. But no, me and my wife, I've always been such a big fan of Welcome to Wrexham. Do y'all watch that, by the way? Welcome to Wrexham.
It's that soccer club that
Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Yeah.
So you've watched. You've kind of watched them, and the way that like the European Soccer League works, it's interesting, and I honestly think it's something that like you could maybe entertain that the college football system does, just because like with all of these transfer portals, like I think it's really cool. But anyways,
moving up to the Premier League and
yeah, like because we all treat the SEC and the Big Ten as the top dog. So you could set those as the Premier League. We can kind of get into that, but real quick, we were talking about salaries and stuff. So Cam's kind of getting an interest. My wife is kind of getting an interest in European soccer. So we were just talking about like, oh, how much do players on Wrexham get paid? And it's like, dude, it's not a lot compared to like what other people get paid. And so I was like, look up Cristiano Ronaldo's salary. This dude, you don't have any guesses?
oh, that's
Any guesses on how much this dude makes annually?
all right. Let me. I'm gonna take a wild guess, stab in the dark, because I have no idea. I've never looked this up. But
Go
all
ahead.
right, all right, Nathan, you and me are gonna say okay,
No,
and
you'll
then
probably just say
Like on
okay.
a year, like on a year,
per year.
like 1 year.
Per
Okay,
year.
okay.
I'm gonna
guess
say
like 90 million.
How much?
9 million.
I'm gonna go with like 90, 100 million, maybe
90, 100 million. I don't even know
90
what that
to
looks.
That's a
100.
that's a big number, Nathan.
Oh, he's okay. He said 90 to 100 million. Okay, I got you.
You know what? I'm gonna go over. Now, hey, are you also incorporating like his deals, like his net salary every year?
Like what his club pays him.
Hmm. I feel like Nathan's got a good one there. I would say like annually he probably makes north of. God, that'd be crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes north of like 200 million.
So he does make $200 million per year.
That's insane. Yeah, I knew it was a big
200
contract.
But the thing is like this is a Saudi Arabian company, so they've got
I was about to say it was
oil
a Saudi
money.
Arabian team that signed
Yeah.
him. Yeah,
Live.
Yeah.
I bet he's out there golfing too.
So
some
then,
shit like that.
So then Neymar is the next one. And I think it says here it's 100 million. I don't think that's updated. I think his is a little bit more.
No.
I think it's 100.
What is
yeah.
Messi's?
I know because I know Neymar like a few years ago he signed like a $400 million year for 4 years. So it was $100 million a year.
Yeah. Let's see. Top.
But Messi plays in the U.S. now. He plays for Miami FC.
He does. Yeah. So we're looking at the top 25. This was updated August 15th, 2024. So not
Messi is says he's approximately 50 to 60 million annually with Miami CF.
Which if you think about it though, that's a lot of money for soccer in the United States.
Oh, it's insane. They're coughing up
That's
pretty penny. So here we go.
Like 50 to 60 million annually is like a 3 or 4 year contract for Patty Mahomes.
That's annoying.
I think he was making more than that when he was playing for FC Barcelona though.
Yeah, well, maybe I don't know because like here it says that Ronaldo made 285 million a year. Neymar is next. Maybe Mbappe is next. One of those two are next. So this isn't completely updated. I don't remember where the list was that Cam was reading off. And then Messi was third with Inter Miami at 135 million, which again is absolutely crazy for an MLS team in America doing. That just doesn't.
No, think about this. That 285 million breaks down to 23 million a month or almost 6 million a week.
Be nice.
Could you imagine?
$6 million a week.
Could you?
Damn it! Why couldn't I play soccer?
I know.
All right, like now you got me. Now you. All right, so that means how many positive EV bets do we need to hit to keep up?
Yeah, right. But right now, that's what I was looking back at the value. We're not seeing a whole lot here. So hopefully y'all have been able to tell that one prize pick slip, and we'll continue to monitor here. We could force something. I don't necessarily want to force something if we don't have to. Like we could use this other CS2 play with him. Use this other golf play, but then after that, we kind of see some of this value drop for sure. So we don't necessarily want to force anything. We'll kind of see what else kind of pops up here and there. But anyways, though,
he's force it, and that just when you said that, I just pictured that little guy from Major League Two. He's like, "You got no huevos."
Well, I'm trying to be smart with my dinero here. But So what I was bringing up though, the college football taking on European football, tiered systems. I feel like it's something that could legit happen. So
Okay, but are you talking about college football or all of college sports in general? Because
it would
like
have to be.
if
I feel like it would
'cause I don't
have
think
to
you
be
can
all
do
college
it.
sports. Well, it didn't have to be all college sports because what? College football is the only sport, I believe, that doesn't do a tournament of 64. College baseball, college softball, basketball, all of volleyball, all of these major sports that, viewers are going to tune into, all of them have tournaments of 64s. Like you don't necessarily need to do this because you're getting put into a massive tournament pool. You know what I mean? College football is the only one that it's like the system's broken. How can we fix it? Everything's in a limbo year to year.
Is it broken though? Because like every time like college football fans ask for a change, they get a change, and like it wasn't change enough. So like I get where you're coming from, like on the terms of the European Soccer League and doing that with college, but like look at Vanderbilt for example, like dog shit at football, right? But they're pretty good at baseball. Like one of the
Yeah,
reasons why they're still in the
but
SEC.
I
But
think I think the way a lot of people are have mixed feelings with the NIL is like it's good in the sense that it gives athletes their image and likeness, right? And that's great and all. But what's so dangerous about it is you can now you can't take it away. It's forever. Like, how can you go out
oh
there and be
yeah,
like, "Hey, we're not doing
wait.
NILs anymore. You're 4 million, gone. You're 6 million,
There's
gone."
one there's
Like, you
one
can't get rid of it now. It's
there's
there
one
forever.
good that
But
has
it's not
come.
necessarily a bad. It's not a bad thing. But the problem is college football needs to make smart choices from here on out because a lot of these choices are irreversible. So you can't undo what's been done. So that's NIL is one of those things now. So now that you've implemented it, which like I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but how can we make it better and not worse? Because you've already made a very crucial decision, college football. So now where do we go from here?
What you should do, well, I think you should put a limit on how many times you can enter the transfer portal.
No,
Well, then
that
yeah, we're the
100%.
NFL almost.
No, not
You
necessarily.
contract. You got to. Well, Nathan's basically putting it like you'd have to do a contract. Like so,
Well,
if
it's
you
not a
limit that,
So
you'd have
contract.
to.
here's my
It's not a
thing. Like,
contract. You just set it the whole NCAA as a like, look at it as a business, right? The whole NCAA can put a regulation to all college athletes. Every college athlete that participates in the NCAA, you can be like, hey, the transfer portal is here. It is for you to use. You can use it, but you all can only use it one time. Because if you don't, then you're going to have all these people jumping around from school to school, 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 school,
Right,
school.
but then you're gonna have to give like consolation for the fact that okay, hey, I've already used my transfer, but I transferred to Alabama, but Nick Saban just left. He just retired. So now you got to allow those people to have another option because you can't be like, dude, you've already used it. You're stuck with whoever the new coach is going to be. Keelan DeBoer. Oh fuck.
You
Like
have to
so.
set some guidelines though. You can't let the kids run the system. Like
Right. That's what I'm saying. I agree.
like
I think it's a good idea with the transfer, but you also have to have these underlying rules that like, hey, if you do transfer and you use it in the act that your coach leaves, you are now granted another transfer.
life
that's
happens.
You
Get
know,
over it.
so. Well, no,
Do it like
okay. So
like the real world, dude. Life happens. Get over it. It is what it
I
is.
don't know. I think that there needs to be. I think that there needs to be like a middle ground. And so I posed this question in our little Google Doc that you can answer there. That is for the people in the chat. That's what I want y'all to answer. We kind of have an A or B. And if you have a C, which is an other, let us know in the comments below, but you can just comment A or B here on the transfer portal. But A is just limit the number of transfers. Let me clarify that. Of transfers to college athletes. So again, like if we want to say you get one throughout your whole collegiate career, then cool. But what I feel like the most realistic option, in my opinion, so I would be answering B on this, is athletes sit out for one season. So again, if someone were to transfer from Alabama to Texas, then they don't get to play that upcoming season. That's your penalty. So you lose out. Like if you were a freshman, went to Alabama, and you transferred to Texas, okay, you skip out on your sophomore season, and the next time you get to play is your junior season. If you don't like what Texas is about, and now all of a sudden you want to transfer to Texas A&M, guess what? You're not playing your junior season either. You can play your senior season. And those years count for eligibility against you. I think that with that makes it to where athletes are like, shit, do I really want to transfer or do I want to stick this out? And like, there's some athletes that maybe like, it ain't worth it. I want to leave. Now, like Dalton said, or Nathan said, I don't remember who was saying it. I think that you do make exceptions. The exception that you make is if there's coaching changes. If people transferred to Alabama, just as a, for instance, and Nick Saban retired, right? And then it's like, oh shit, right? I think that that's where you open it up and you don't have to face a one season penalty for transferring, because that's maybe the sole reason that you went to Alabama is to play under Nick Saban, and now all of a sudden that was kind of, taken away from you, and that's out of your control. So I think that you do make exceptions. I don't know why it's impossible to make exceptions, but I feel like the way that you can limit this is just by saying, hey, we're not limiting transfers, but what we're doing is we're penalizing it. And that penalization is going to be for one season. That's going to limit it so much.
They've done that, though. They did it to Baker and Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and
Kyler Murray,
you know how many transfers were happening during that time? Not that many.
It was very minimal. Exactly.
So do it. And if you want to transfer. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Get out of town.
So
that's really
get
out of town.
So here's another thing that the NIL needs to look into, and it needs to be like, NIL is unregulated. And a big thing that's going around right now that I think needs to be looked into is called the pay for play scheme. Have y'all heard of that? So basically, what's happening is these schools, it's not the schools per se, that's the question, is you're getting these like barbecue joints or these small businesses or big businesses around these universities that are reaching out to these recruits in another state or same state saying, hey, if you come to this school, Alabama, and you play for them, we'll give you $500,000, but they'll call it NIL money. But what it is if they don't go to school, they don't get the money.
Yeah.
So it's called pay for play scheme.
Yeah, like nothing is a contract. Nothing is guaranteed. Like all it is hearsay. Like for Arch Manning, he's projected. I don't know. Let's just say $8 million. That's what they expect him to make. But the boosters can all of a sudden be like, we're not paying.
I know. And then did y'all hear the story though? I hear the story. So when he first came into Texas, it was a $3 million deal, and he got $3 million. But his dad and his grandpa put it into an account and locked him out of it. He's not allowed to touch that money until he becomes the named starting quarterback for the University of Texas.
See, I was under the impression that he wasn't accepting money. That's what I read, was that he wasn't accepting money until he became the starting quarterback.
Yeah, but I think that was the decision coming from his grandpa and his dad.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's what I had read. But yeah, I did see that, which is cool. But that's also not the reality of, I feel like.
Speak of Arch Manning, I want to ask y'all something. Technically, he can play, I believe, 3 years at Texas. How many years do you think he plays at Texas? You think he's one and done? Everyone, all the experts are saying that he's going to do one and done. There's no way.
Look, I will say that Arch, to me, I like him a lot. Just not even as just a player, but as a human being. I mean, I feel like he is truly authentic when he comes across. Like, just waiting his turn. Like, he is just everybody, like, that every school, I feel like, wants in a quarterback. He embodies it. Like, sits behind, Quinn Ewers, has a good just head on his shoulders, waits his turn, goes in, plays hard, comes out for one play, cheers up and dabs up his guys. Then he gets a shot when Quinn gets hurt. Like, I don't know. And he played great during those times. And for me, as a rookie, he played great. So I think
his second year. His first year, he was a third string quarterback.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He could have easily transferred, knowing that who he is, right? Where he comes from, but he doesn't seem like he boasts that. Like he's kind of his own person. Like I almost forget he's part of the Peyton Eli, family tree because he doesn't boast it, and you kind of learn to love him. I think a lot of people really like him. But to answer your question, I really feel like he'd stick it out there. I think he's very ethical and true with what he does and very smart. I think he'd stay as long as it takes him to finish his degree is what I'm saying. If it takes him 2 years or 3 years, I think he'll leave early. But if it takes him all the way through his senior year, then I think he'll stay. But I don't think he'll pull Jalen Milroe and stay after he's already graduated another year. If he's got another year of eligibility, I think he'll just go. That's kind of where I see him. So
for me, I don't know. I do see him going to the NFL. I think he's going to be a one and done.
I don't think he will because they told Quinn Ewers 25 starts.
25.
The college quarterback has to have 25 starts.
Well, and look at that. That didn't really pan out for Quinn Ewers too much.
Well, no, of course not. I could do that. I think
that's going to matter. I don't think that's going to matter for him, just because I do think that like he's kind of in a league of his own, just in terms of talent. So I just think that I just think it'd be dumb. Like if you're going to be a top 5 pick, like why are you not going into the draft? Like you're going to make more than you would in college, and you're going to be locked into a 4-year contract. Like you're going to be young in the NFL. Like you're going to be. It just doesn't make sense to go back to college. It really,
okay, but
you see people go back to college to finish their college degrees over the summer or in the off season. Like they just take some courses here and there just to finish out their degrees. So I don't know. I could very much see him.
Why would
he
you
has
stay
a great
and play?
season and can stay as a top 5 to 10 pick.
Why would you not stay and play another year though?
I mean, I don't. Just because again you have the security if you're because again I think we're all assuming that he's going to be a top 5 to 10 draft pick projected.
It's like everybody assumed Shedeur Sanders would.
Right.
No,
Well, so,
I don't think so.
Everyone thought that he would at least go in the first round.
That is true. But I think that comparing him and Quinn Ewers is a little bit different.
I was comparing him to Arch. Like everyone's expecting Arch to go so high.
No, that's
in the first round.
Yeah,
everyone expected Shedeur Sanders to go in the first.
Yeah, but I don't think that Manning is going to be like, oh, he's a potential first round pick. I think it's going to be like, there's no way he slips out of the top 5. Like, and at that point, like I don't. What is the purpose? If that's the case, what is the purpose of going back to college?
As a Texas fan, I hope you're wrong.
No, I get it. No, believe me, I get it. Like that's going to be a tough pill to swallow when that time comes around. Is like losing him just because he is a generational talent. But then that's also the thing as well. It's like those people don't last long in college either. Like they are there and then they are gone.
Yeah, I will say too though, I think NFL teams do like the longevity of college football. It allows you to grow and become more well-rounded before you actually get there. I don't think NFL teams. I think they do like the younger you are, the better. Just like Bennett for the Bulldogs. Like he from Georgia, he goes in. He's almost 26 years old. Like, but I don't think they want him like that. He's very seasoned from college football, but I think walking in as a 23-year-old is not really that bad. Like 21-year-old, if you can start playing 21, that's even better. But that's like hitting a lottery for an NFL team, walking in at 21 years old, starting, right? So I don't know if I would be in such a rush. However, to like DJ's point, I think that if you know you're a top 5 pick, maybe, but like if you play another year, you risk injury, right? But you got the NIL. Hell, the NIL will probably make you more money than your first couple of years in the NFL anyways. Like if it's for the money, then just stay in college football. You'll make more money anyways, more than likely. And get another year of playing because you're likely going to go to the NFL and sit the bench anyways and make less money. So there's things to look at, right? You got to figure it out. Unless you're the number 1 pick overall, you're probably going to make more money than your NIL deal. But I don't know. There's so many different factors to consider. the risk of staying in college football, getting injured and whatnot. But it just depends. We'll have to see what happens. But I think you could go wrong either way. I mean, if you leave early, you can always get your degree later, like DJ said. But we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued.
What are you looking at over there, DJ? What you see anything intriguing?
Yeah, well, I was just like, I kind of had a thought of my own, so I have the freedom of like looking it up and sharing it. So, but no, I mean, because like that's the thing is like I don't think that Arch Manning. I don't know what. Let's see. Expected. What am I looking for? Expected pay. Fuck, I don't know. In college. 6.6. So that's kind of what they're saying through NIL, that his evaluation is coming in at 6.6 million. So that just had me thinking that like what is Cam Ward? What did he get going first round overall? He got a 12.2. He's projected to get a $12.2 million contract per year, 48 million. So we'll call it $50 million contract over 4 years. So like that's my thing is like that's double than what Arch Manning would get at Texas. So like that's my
right.
Like, I think you have a valid argument. Like if you're gonna make that amount of money, why not stay in college? But I think that conversation is to be had with people that are like mid to late first rounders and beyond. Like at that point, stay in college one more year with the hopes of getting drafted in the top 10. Because I think if you get drafted in the top 10, you're gonna make more than you would in college the following season.
Yeah. Well, let's speak of like what round to get drafted in. What Shador was drafted in the 5th round, 6th round?
Yeah.
I think he signed the highest contract that anybody drafted that low ever.
Did he really?
Yeah, look it up. I think it was a couple $1 million.
Let's see. Well, yeah, as a 4-year, 4.6 million. So he gets roughly 1.15. Yeah, 1.15 a year.
That's got to be higher than anybody else drafted in that round.
I mean, most likely, but again, you kind of also see that happen year to year, anyways.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, no, it's crazy. But what I wanted to end on though, I did want to kind of finish this thought, and then we can kind of end for tonight. We're not a ton of value we're seeing on the board, and I'll check it one more time before we go. But this idea though is something that I was talking with Cam about. I was like, man, if we could see this shit happen, I think it would be fun. But the goal is that obviously everyone says SEC, Big Ten are the top dogs. So I think what I'm saying is make those teams the first year, put them as the Premier League. That's the top. That is the cream of the crop. You are at the top. But what you do in the Championship League, the tier immediately under it, put in the other two Power 4 conferences, and that's going to be the Big 12 and the ACC. Put those two conferences in this Championship League. Then what you can do is put the other, I'm forgetting the other conferences, but like what is that? The MAC.
You got the MAC,
USA,
the Sun Belt, the American.
Yeah, all of those. However, it wants to get divvied out. That's where it's going to lead to a lot of controversy. It's kind of divvying them out to these. Now, what happens if you're not familiar with European soccer? What you would see in this Premier League, the bottom teams and whoever that is, it's no longer SEC and it's no longer Big Ten. It is you are all in one conference and y'all kind of just play each other, right? So then the bottom teams in that conference get relegated, which means that they are now a part of the Championship League. And then the Championship League, the top teams, the top 4 teams are now, they've been promoted into the Premier League. They are now a part of that SEC, Big Ten, whatever. So then all that's doing is keeping basically those elite schools, because that's what we're seeing right now. That's really what we're seeing right now. And then how can you kind of build a championship out of that, right? And like that's the beauty of this is like, you can kind of have a championship playoffs. You can have a League One playoffs, League Two playoffs, Premier League playoffs. I mean, it was kind of a raw thought that I had, and I'm like, man, college football could really maybe use something like this. I think that would kind of be
Anytime we get talking conferences and all this, conference that, SEC that, I get so pissed off. I get so pissed off at the fact that Notre Dame is not in a conference, dude. I don't know why that bothers the fire out of me, but it bothers me so bad. The fact that the NCAA continues to allow the Notre Dame football team not be in a conference when every other sport that they have plays in a conference.
It is true, yeah. That is the wildest thing that they are. They are in a conference
Being
in other
bitches,
sports.
Notre Dame.
I mean, last year though, they did make a name for themselves. They did have a tough schedule, and they competed. They got into the college football playoffs, and they
They had a tough schedule
there. They did, yeah, they did. It wasn't
I
an
thought their
easy
toughest
schedule.
game was I thought their toughest game was Texas A&M,
which wasn't a tough. I mean, which wasn't an easy competition. So, but let's
the next week they go home and.
I was gonna say though, real quick, I think the promotion and relegation would be great, but I'd be curious how the NIL would work with all that, because getting relegated and dropping down a league, how would that affect your funding for your school?
I think that,
and
I think that what you do,
I'd be curious how that works.
I'd say here how it works is there's going to have to be a salary cap. Like, that's just what's going to have to fix this. There's going to have to be a salary cap. There's going to be an amount that, like, these schools are limited to pay. So I think what you do is you're saying, hey, in this Premier League, the cream of the crop, you say, hey, you can only spend a total of $50 million on your players. But then Championship League, that drops down maybe $10 million. Like, hey, you can spend $40 million, $30 million, $20 million, $10 million, blah, blah, blah.
But can you do that, though? Because isn't most of the money coming from the boosters anyway? So it's not actually coming from the university. It's coming from the alumni.
Yeah, and I mean, because that's the same thing with, like, European soccer clubs. Like, they don't have salary caps. If they can afford to pay the top player to come down and all the way play in the National League, then they're going to do that. Like, they're going to pay the
It's like baseball. It's just like professional baseball.
Baseball has, like, a loose salary cap with luxury taxes that they've got to meet and everything else. Like, European soccer truly has no limits. It's, if you can pay it, you pay it, and it doesn't matter. So I mean, that's kind of the college football scheme right now, and it just essentially keeps the rich rich, which again is what we're seeing kind of take over with college football at the end of the day. Like, Oregon will be able to forever buy whoever they want to because their biggest booster and their biggest sponsor is Nike. Texas is the same. They're having a lot of tech money come in. It's crazy. It's wild, but how do you fix that? You fix that by saying, like, hey, as
Oregon will always be Oregon.
Whatever, this is the limit that you can pay your players, and that's a salary cap at the end of the day. So if you wanna do that, but that's gonna piss a lot of people off, like Texas fans, like Oregon fans, because they can buy whoever the hell they want. But Baylor can't get, like, my team Baylor can't get anybody. One, because no one wants to play in Waco. Two, because we can't really pay anybody.
So let me ask you this too.
Baylor's super expensive. Okay, let's just throw that out there.
That's all that it is.
But
those are boosters. We got Chip and Joanna.
Baylor's got money. The boosters got money. Just ain't nobody want to play in Waco, Texas. Let's be honest. That's the problem with Baylor.
They want to play. Texas. They want to play an hour south in Austin. That doesn't make any sense.
So.
I'd rather live in Austin than Waco,
and here's two things that I don't know how I feel too about the relegation stuff. I was just thinking about. I was like, if I was a 5-star quarterback, I'm one of the best in the country and the most sought after. I'm likely going to choose between Texas or Oregon over any school, because I feel like I know that there's only one transfer, right, or whatever. If we still apply that to this rule too, because there's so many different avenues of what we see this could be to try to fix it. I'm only choosing Texas or Oregon because they have the most funds available. And I know that if I want to be a good player, other good players are going to go because of the funds. And I believe those are the safest options to not get relegated ever. Because if I join those teams and they do get relegated, it could help. It could hurt my NFL draft stock. So, in essence, right? So I'm thinking I'm going to those two schools, which means I think that those two schools would be up there forever because they're going to pull people because they're the safety nets of not facing
You're
relegation.
not going to pull everybody because not every 5-star can go there. That's why recruiting is still a big factor in college football. And I say that confidently because look at Dylan Raiola. Like he was the number one quarterback, the number one player in his class, committed to Georgia, decommitted from Georgia, and then went to Nebraska. Like I still believe that recruiting is a big factor in college football. And one of the things that I do appreciate the way that Sarkisian runs the portal and all this NIL stuff and everything is like he tells the players like when you come to Texas and you play for the Longhorns or like whether you play or whether you don't play or you're on the team or you're on the practice squad, it doesn't matter. Once you enter the transfer portal, you are done. You are gone. You are no longer a member of the Texas Longhorns. There is no coming in the portal and coming back out. Once you enter the portal, you're gone. He says, no matter what college football does or what NIL does, he was like, you still have to establish a college football program and recruiting matters. And he was like, all these people want to sit here and talk about how, oh, you don't have to recruit because you're University of Texas and NIL. And he's like, that's not true.
Well, no, but I'm talking about the over on the relegation. If we did something like the European Soccer League, that's what I'm talking about. Is like it's going to make a lot of these much wealthier schools and the bigger booster schools. It's going to actually give them an easier path. What I'm saying is people are trying to fix college football, but I don't think it's fixing. I think it's more of the grass isn't greener on the other side type fight. Like we're changing we're changing college football and we're giving ourselves new issues. There's new problems. We're solving problems for new problems. And so I think it's which way was better and what side, like maybe the grass was greener here, but now we're over here and we can't go back. And now we've got all these new problems that we've now created. And how do we fix these? Now we're fixing these, and now there's new problems. I don't think college football will ever get fixed. It's a matter of what can we deal with. And I think, honestly, college football 2 or 3 years ago, was that the best we've ever had that we're never going to get back? Or are we now going to go to, or are we getting better now? Like, or are we getting worse? That's the main question that I have is, where are we going?
College football is college football. We finally got a 12-team playoff, the NIL stuff. Just what the hell? Just leave it alone. Let it be right now. Because no matter what happens, college football is still the best football in all of America.
Hey, keep the traditions. That's all I want. Keep the traditions. The NFL ain't got that. They got traditions, but not like college football. And that's what people watch college football for: is the traditions, the rivalries.
It's just more exciting football.
Yes. So let's as long as they got that, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see some sort of this European soccer thing because I mean, like you're saying.
Hey, if that European Soccer League ends up ruining rivalries, I'm gonna be pissed. Like if Auburn gets regulated and they move down and Alabama don't play them.
I mean that
would never happen. It would never happen.
Texas, Oklahoma, they're not in the same. That would be messed up.
If you end up doing the European soccer system, there is a possibility where that happens. But also in the European soccer leagues, like you see that they have their own rivalries. It's going to create rivalries. It 100%.
But these rivalries, you got to keep these. You can't create new ones.
Like I think that there's a way that you make exceptions.
You got to keep them.
I think that there's because what they do in European soccer leagues is they're called friendlies, and what it does is like you just play teams outside.
They're like preseason games.
They are preseason games, but you play games.
They don't matter. That's what Ted Lasso said. They don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're friendlies, so that's why they call them friendlies, is because they don't matter against you. But I think that like that's where college football could adapt that mindset or whatever,
because when it matters, it makes it that much better.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this shouldn't be so black and white. It's not like, oh, if you do this, you can't have your in-state rivalries or whatever. Like, I think you 100% can, but it's gotten so crazy that I don't know. It's just hyperpolarization of these teams that we're seeing with like Oregon, Texas, and all these other teams that can pay, and it's just frustrating that they're getting quality players. No, I don't.
So
I
what
respect.
I
I
hear is
respect what they can get done.
don't let DJ on the NCAA committee board. That's what I'm hearing, Dalton.
Why?
Do not let DJ nowhere near the NCAA committee.
Any of us.
Nowhere near.
Don't let any of us on there.
DJ doesn't love college football like we love it. He would just ruin it.
Blah blah.
He would ruin
blah,
it.
Whatever. Dalton's upset because his
Baylor at the
Alabama
top.
football is no longer the cream of the crop because they don't have Nick Saban and the NIL portal's a thing.
Hey.
Nathan's upset because this is
that's the best.
last year that Arch Manning is here with his Texas Longhorns, and he's trying to figure out how he's going to be able to survive in the coming years. So we'll see when y'all's mindsets shift, because they sure have shifted in a short amount of time with these NILs. They're ruining football. Blah, 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 whatever. It's because of the NIL that y'all got Arch Manning. So how broken is the system? How broken is the system?
He said no, we got Arch Manning because of how good Sark did at Alabama.
Wrong.
Hey, all I got to say is nobody transferred from Bama this year. Nobody. For the starting spring. So
last thing I'll say,
we doing something.
Last thing I'll say, Baylor basketball, kind of bullshit.
Oh,
we lost everybody. We had 0 returning players because they either one went to the draft or B entered the transfer portal. So we've got a whole new roster, which is absolutely so stupid to me. That's what I'm saying. I love the transfer portal, but it needs to be fixed because that's the downside to it. That is the real possibility of what could happen. So
limit the times, how many times an athlete can transfer near the portal.
I think it's a simple solution of like, don't limit them, penalize them. Penalize them by sitting out a season, and it counts against the year of their eligibility. You can't just transfer and then because you didn't play, you don't use
unless there's a reason for it.
Right. Yeah, there has to be exceptions, like a coach leaves and then that opens up eligibility. It's like, okay, you won't be penalized for this. You can choose to stay, or I think there has to be a window though. Like you have 30 days to make up your mind. You will allow you to meet the coach, will allow you to meet his new staff. But after the end of 30 days, you have to make up your mind. And then after those 30 days, if you then decide to transfer, you're penalized. That kind of.
I'd be curious how they handle external factors too, such as like family illnesses and things like that. So they transfer back to in-state.
I don't think that like that.
I don't know how you'd even.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think it has to be something that directly impacts like the school that they play,
the institution itself, because they're investing in you, and if they change as an investor, then they should give you the right to leave.
Right.
But if you're leaving on your own situation, even though how bad it is, like that, you're voiding your contract to leave.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I can agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I do think that is like a simple fix, but I don't know. I'm over the. We could talk about this all day, so I don't want to keep y'all too long. But yeah, no, I'm over the hyperpolarization of the media talking about the Big Ten and the SEC. It's sickening. There's no reason Missouri at the end of the year should have popped back into the top 25. No reason. But why? It's simple. Because they're in the SEC. And it's a load of bullshit. It's a load of bullshit. Make it look like everybody else's schedule in the SEC is loaded. Like, oh, well, they beat Missouri. Well, so did fucking 5 other teams. So, whatever. Doesn't matter. So, that's where I stand on that. That's it, though. Boys, are there any closing comments that y'all want to make? There's no value. Price picks, underdog, better. It's just kind of a lull season. No NBA. MLB lines haven't dropped, so there's a lot of CS2. Seeing some WNBA, though, you could kind of maybe create or force a slip on that, but it's not necessarily worth it right now.
I ain't got nothing, brother. I just always have fun getting on and talking to you, and go Stars.
Woo!
Me.
Yeehaw. All right. Talk to y'all later.
Go Stars, eh?
Ride the pine.
Yeah.